Okay, this is kind of embarrassing. Oh, and this is awful. Do you guys want to talk phobia? This is kind of ridiculous, but if you saw my nose piercing video, you know I can get a little dramatic. This is so dumb. Just saying it out loud, but it's real. It's a real thing. And just no. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am super long-winded, so this is probably gonna be a long video. So I'm filming outside today because I feel like my house just doesn't have great lighting. Plus, I just like to be in my backyard. I've got some papaya trees back here and tons of squirrels. I also have 4 kids, so let me just say that, right? They're all watching a movie right now, but there tend to be like lots of random mamas. So, you know, I came outside. Also, thank you for 200 subscribers, kind of like a get to know me tag. So I'm just gonna get right into this because I'm sure it's gonna be a long video. First of all, obviously if you're subscribed to my channel, you know that my channel name is Marie Johnson, but Marie is not my real name. It is a nickname that my mom has always had for me, especially like when I hit my teen years. It's just, my mom has always called me Marie and it's just easier. And I feel like it's more relatable than my real name, which is, drumroll please, Maritza. That's right, Maritza. And if you don't have like a Spanish background at all, then you would look at my name and go, Maritza? Which is why I don't really like to go by that name. I just really don't like the way it sounds in English, basically. My mom always goes, it's your dad's fault. Like, I had nothing to do with it, but I have 4 kids and I know the mom chooses. What the F, mom? When I asked my dad about it, he said that he named me after his brother's ex-girlfriend. All I know is that I got my name from my Theo's ex-girlfriend, so super. I go by Marie. Some of my older friends, like friends I've had for years and years, will call me Maritza. Oh God, just stop, please. And obviously on my dad's side of the family, because my dad is Mexican American and my mom is Caucasian, on my dad's side of the family they call me Maritza or Rita Pita or Maritza Pizza. So I have a bunch of like random nicknames. I have no idea. And I guess when you have kind of like a wild, like crazy, different sort of uncommon name, that's what happens. You end up getting a ton of nicknames, which is totally cool. I have some friends from high school who still call me Ritz, which is cute too. So that's that. Maritza. I am obviously part Latina. I'm Mexican American, Tejana to be exact. I am from Dallas, Texas. That's where I grew up. Well, I guess that's where I spent the first part of my childhood because I came to Florida when I was, it was like the summer before 6th grade. So I don't know, how old are you then? Oh, look, here's Red. This is why I came outside, but you know. Mommy, they know how to find their mama. What, baby? Papi. Puppy? Pop? Yeah. Oh, I don't think we have one. You want to sit with mom and have that chip? Anyway, I grew up listening to Selena. That was part of my life. I literally still have the mixtape that my dad made for me, like the Selena Greatest Hits mixtape when I was really little, so freaking awesome. It's a cassette tape, okay? For those of you who don't know what mixtapes are. We used to go visit our family who lived in South Texas, because Dallas is like pretty far from the border down there. But we have family who live down in the valley, and when we would visit them, we would literally go to Mexico for dinner, like just for that night, you know, and then like drive back to South Texas, because it's like a 20-minute drive, right? So we would go to Mexico, and I remember being a kid and like getting these little bracelets like woven with my name on them in Mexico, and all the colorful shops with like sugar skulls and I don't know, like parrots and puppets. And I remember like the kids selling chicle. Being Mexican American, being Tejana is like a big part of who I am. We did all the stereotypical things. We would have barbecues for everything. Our family is visiting, let's have a barbecue. The Mavericks are playing, let's have a barbecue. It's Christmas, let's have a barbecue. So it's just like, I just remember so many barbecues with music and just kind of hanging out. I don't know, I think every family has barbecues, but for like Mexicans it's like a real thing. Barbecue for everything, that's how we celebrate. If your family is the same way, comment down below and let me know. The other thing about living in Dallas and having such a rich Mexican culture there is that we would have, I remember visiting my grandma's house and my whole family lived in like, on like the same little plot of land. Like everyone had their own house, but they all, okay, Ren's trying to expose me right now. Okay. It was like one big plot of land and everyone had their own house, like their own home, but they all lived together. So I would be like, I remember visiting my dad after my parents divorced. Yeah, when we would go to my grandmother's house for the day, I could just like run back and forth between my cousin's house and my grandma's house. It was just, it's so nice to have like a little community like that. We would be chilling at my grandma's house, and you know how like the ice cream truck comes through neighborhoods, or, you know, I don't see that anymore, but I feel like when I was a kid, ice cream trucks would come around the neighborhoods more. Anyway, we didn't have a legit like big van style ice cream truck. We had a paleta man, which is literally a guy who's either walking with like a cart with dry ice and paletas, or like Mexican popsicles basically, and he would have like bells on it. So instead of like the traditional ice cream songs that they would play, he would just like be ringing his bell, walking around Dallas neighborhood. We would wait for the paleta man every day, and he would sell chicharrones, which are pig skins, which obviously I don't eat anymore. And he would sell like little tamarindo candies and like jellies, which I still don't like. I never liked them. I don't know. If you haven't heard of tamarindo, maybe you should try it. I think it's like one of those things that you either love or hate. That's it. I'm a Tejana. Okay, favorite movies. When I was a kid, my favorite movie that I can remember watching a million times is Grease. I know, well, when I was in high school, I know it was still popular. That was like 10 years ago. How old am I? That was more than 10 years ago. Okay. So I used to love Grease, or I still love Grease, but I specifically remember being a kid and just watching it constantly. That was my favorite movie as a kid. Now, I don't know. I don't have time, or I don't make time, I guess, to watch movies now that I have kids. I almost feel like it's a waste of time. But if I am gonna watch a movie, I mean, my absolute all-time favorite now as an adult that I saw as a kid often, because my mom was cool, is Dirty Dancing. It's definitely one of my top 3, and it's the one that comes to my mind the quickest. And I also like Labyrinth, Fantastic Mr. Fox, if we're trying to get like a little bit more modern. You know, I guess it's like 10 years ago still. Jeez, I don't know where the last 10 years went. It feels modern to me, but anyway, Fantastic Mr. Fox is BA. Love that movie. Am I a cat or a dog person? Okay, if you know me, you know the answer to this question. Definitely cats, 100%. It's just like not my style to have like barking around me all day and like licking my face or just like jumping on me. I'm just like, back up. I kind of like how cats are more like standoffish and like feisty. I like it. You know, like when you go to pet a cat and they just like give you that look, and then you pet them again because you're like, you know, testing them, and then they just like scratch you and you're like, damn, I totally deserve that. Love it. I don't own a cat now, and part of it is that I just can't have a litter box in my house. It's really not a huge deal, but I still have little baby, right? He's not quite 2 yet, and they get into things, and I don't know. I think I would have to have an indoor-outdoor cat, but I'm also like a worrier. So if I ever got a cat again, I wouldn't want a litter box in my house, but I also would be like nervous to let it out. I wouldn't want it to get hit by a car. I'm sure we'll have cats one day because Dylan loves cats too, and he's always like, please can we have a cat? I'll take care of it, you know, blah, blah, blah. So maybe one day, but anyway, I'm definitely a cat person. Who are my favorite YouTubers? This is a tough one because it really depends on the genre. Right off the top of my head, I would have to say Ellen Fisher, obviously, because her videos are just so beautiful and they tell really nice stories, and she's just super positive and full of life. So Ellen Fisher, but also Emma Chamberlain. I freaking love Emma Chamberlain. I don't know, I just feel like we're kind of similar. So anyway, Ellen Fisher, Emma Chamberlain. I get this question a lot. How long have I been vegan? So it's kind of a complicated story. Let me just try and like quickly move through it, because I'm planning to do a whole video on my vegan story. So I'm just gonna give you like basic real quick, like sort of topical. And I cannot remember for the life of me. I've been racking my brain about who exposed me to this idea, or what exposed me. When I was in 2005, we had the internet, but we didn't just like search the internet for everything. Like today, even my kids will be like, just type it in, just Google it, you know? We didn't do that. It wasn't like just Google it in 2005. So I really, like, for the life of me, cannot remember how I was exposed to it, but I saw Meat Your Meat, which there have been so many more documentaries about factory farms and animal cruelty and veganism now. But back then, that was one of the first ones. So anyway, I saw Meat Your Meat and I literally couldn't even finish it. T had to like hide it from me because I was like, I need to finish it, I need to know what's happening. And he was like, you're freaking out, man. Like, I was not handling that. And I literally went vegan overnight. I remember, okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but I remember literally making like every egg in my fridge because I used to love scrambled eggs. So ridiculous. I didn't even eat half of them, but I think I made like 10 eggs and I'm just like, I have to eat these really quick before I go vegan. Have you done anything like that before making a big change in your life? You know, like, I'm going on a diet tomorrow, so let me eat like all the freaking ice cream in my fridge. So that's the story. I watched Meet Your Meat and I was done. Like I said, I'll make a whole video. I haven't been vegan the entire time and I sort of relapsed on my vegan diet. So I'm gonna make a video about that. If you have any questions about that, put them down below so that I can answer them in that video. Me and T have been together since we were 15. Well, he was 16 and I was 15. We were in like our own little bubble for the first like 6 years of our relationship. I swear it was pretty much just me and T all the time until we had kids, and that's just how we liked it. And we're a little bit different now because when you have kids, it's like, I need to get out more. That was another fact, that me and T have been together since we were 15. Literally half my life I've been with my husband, which kind of makes me feel old. Here's a fun one. I have never once, this is not an exaggeration, never once in my life put makeup on my face. I've never bought a single piece of makeup in my life. Okay, wait, unless you count like lip gloss. And I haven't bought that since I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. I am just not that kind of girl. And it's crazy because my mom used to do hair when she was in high school, and she is so stereotypically just like girly, and I am the complete opposite. I brush my hair, I wash it sometimes. I wash my face most days. I don't even like wear lip balm. I only wear like chapstick if it's cold and my lips are dry. Like, I do not put shit on my face, basically. One time when I was in, I think I was in middle school, my mom convinced me to do this super freaking embarrassing photo shoot, and she put makeup on me then. So I have had makeup on my face before, but I have never once bought it or put it on myself. I have no desire to do that. I can't believe how much time it takes, and I feel like it's just not me. That includes my wedding day, okay? On my wedding day I didn't have makeup on, and people were like, oh my god, you should at least wear it on your wedding day, but it's like, why? That's not who I am, you know? I don't need to be somebody different on my wedding day. And I know that makeup doesn't necessarily make you a different person, but I don't know, it's just not me. And obviously I did like ballet and tap when I was a little kid, like, you know, 7. So my mom would put makeup on me for the shows. So anyway, no makeup. I might make another video about that. So on this note, I don't know if I just like, I don't know how this happened, but I'm completely surrounded by boys. I don't have any sisters. I have 4 sons and I have 3 brothers. So, and my best friends were always male until recently, like, well, maybe not recently, until like 6 years ago when I started hanging out with Danica more. So if you're a longtime subscriber and you've seen my other videos, you know Danica. If you saw my nose piercing video, you know who she is. Love her. But she's like one of the only females that I've ever like super jived with. Like I said, I've just always been completely surrounded by males. And I don't really like, I'm not like upset about it necessarily, but I have been seeing some really beautiful sister relationships recently. And so that does sort of make me long a little, like, or wonder, I guess you could say, like, oh, what is it like to have a sister, you know, because it's different. So anyway, completely surrounded by boys. Back to the topic of like not being a stereotypical girl. I loathe the color pink, like that hot pink or like baby pink, just bleh. Okay, here's a good one. I stopped wearing bras. Basically, as soon as I got boobs, I stopped wearing bras. So sometimes I'll wear like sports bras if I'm biking or going to the store in like a super obviously like nipply shirt, but I don't know, it just barely bothers me at all anymore because it's been like 16 years or something, like literally once I hit puberty and started thinking for myself and stopped wearing like training bras. What the hell is a training bra, by the way? Yeah, so I don't like them. They're not comfortable, and I don't own a single bra. I have 2 sports bras that are like Patagonia, like hiking bras. Speaking of puberty, okay, this is a fun one. So I grew up in the 90s. I was obsessed with NSYNC. You're either like an NSYNC person or a Backstreet Boys person. Let me know in the comments below. Are you an NSYNC person or a Backstreet Boys person? Or do you not know what the hell I'm talking about because you're too young? Anyway, I was an NSYNC person. I've always loved Justin Timberlake. He had that curly hair, and it's crazy. Like, I married a guy with curly blonde hair. I don't know, maybe I've always had the same type. But anyway, the first time I ever got my period, I was sleeping with my cousins outside of Redbird Mall in Dallas, sleeping overnight at the ticket booth to be like one of the first people in line to buy NSYNC tickets. And I had to pee, so my cousin Vanessa took me to the bathroom, and guess what? I started my period. And I didn't tell anyone. I have no idea why. I was super comfortable with my cousin Vanessa. Like, we were super tight when I was growing up, so I have no idea what I was thinking. I don't know why I didn't say anything. So I basically just like bled in my pants all night. Awesome story, right? NSYNC, that one's for you, JT. And it was freezing that night. We were like all wrapped up in sleeping bags with like blankets on top, and there were like 50 people in line. Right? And this is awful, I never made it to that freaking concert. Here's a cool one. This is one of my favorite things. This is one of my favorite facts. So we got together when we were 15, and when we were 20 and 21, we eloped and got married in Santorini, or ancient Thera, in Greece. We completely loved it. We're just like still super stoked on it. So we got married in Santorini, and we chilled on the island for a few days, and then we flew to Athens and hung out there for like a week. And we were in this cool hotel with like a view of the Acropolis, and then we flew to Italy and hung out there, and then we came home. So anyway, I'm still stoked about that. What is my favorite music or bands? What are my favorite bands? If I had to choose only three, like my three go-tos that I literally listen to constantly and like scream sing to in the car at least a couple times a week: Prince, Tom Petty, and Daft Punk. Which I know those are like literally three completely different sounds, bands, artists, musicians, whatever. Love all of them. They're my absolute favorite. I never got to see Prince, but I did see Tom Petty twice. T got to see him 3 times. We actually took Dylan to see Tom Petty a few months before he died. Those are my top 3. Do you guys want to talk phobias? Like what I'm afraid of? And this is kind of ridiculous, but if you saw my nose piercing video, you know I can get a little dramatic. Okay, so this is so dumb, just saying it out loud, but it's real. It's a real thing. I am terrified, and I am not using that word lightly. I am freaking terrified of Cuban tree frogs. If you live in Florida, or maybe if you don't live in Florida, you can't understand this, but if you live in Florida, you know they are freaking everywhere. They're an invasive species. They're completely taking over. They get like in the most random places where you like end up accidentally touching them, and it's just freaking disgusting. And when you accidentally touch them, they freak and they jump so far. And if they jump onto your body and you try to like brush them off, they use their like nasty little legs to like climb up further, and you just have to like shake them off. I hate it. Ugh. So let me tell you a story. The other night, T wasn't home. It was just me and the boys, and we were getting ready for bed, and I was bringing their snack plate back into the kitchen, and I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, what the hell? So I turn, freaking Cuban tree frog in the house. This is not the first time this has happened. Again, if you live in Florida, you totally understand this, but get out of my house. Oh my God. Anyway, so there's a Cuban tree frog chilling in my kitchen, and I'm just like, I like ran away, ran to the back room. Like, what's it gonna do, bite me? No, but it's just, they're so gross because they just like jump, and they're like sticky, and they just, I don't like how erratic their jumping is. They literally will jump on your head. Just no. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah! I like ran to the back, and I locked myself in the office, and I just like peek my mouth out, and I'm like, Dylan, there's a tree frog in the house. I'm not coming out until you catch it. And I want to see it, like, because they'll just be like, you know, if they don't feel like it, they're gonna be like, yeah, we totally caught it, Mom, and then it's jumping on me later while I'm sleeping. No. So anyway, they're like giggling, and I'm just like terrified, like stuffing towels under the door so the damn thing doesn't like come under the door at me. Anyway, yes, I realize this is irrational and ridiculous, but friggin' tree frogs, just no.